Was talking to another gentleman recently, and we were talking about the power of stories, the importance of narratives, and how we learn from stories. And something he said to me, I thought was, it just suddenly clicked with me. What we have today in things like science fiction is the same kind of thing that the ancient Greeks were getting from their myths and so on.
Ooh, wow.
We're getting, yeah, we're getting, because we're learning about human beings, human nature, and so on, but we're learning about it sort of detached from it, where there is things like, magic, Martians, and things like that, all that stuff that's going on. So I kind of grew up with sci-fi. I was about 7 the first time I saw Star Wars, and it always stuck me. Before that, stuck with me. Before that, you can see over my shoulder a little Starship Enterprise.
Yes.
That's the pride of my collection. The reason it is the pride of my collection, because Santa Claus brought that exact model to me when I was 8 years old. And I have commanded that little ship through many a mission over the years. So yeah, I grew up with science fiction and so on, and I like a lot of the stories and some of the things they're telling us, especially the older stuff, writers like Philip K. Dick and so on. But I also collect antique toys. So what you see over my shoulder are my sci-fi ones. What you don't see at the other end of the room are my little lorries and tanks and things.
I'm a big fan of Greek mythology and Star Wars, so I love that you made that connection.
Mm. I it never dawned on me until he
Yeah.
mentioned.
Yeah, I see them as, I mean, it makes sense when you say it out loud, but I see them as like very like opposite things in a sense, but they really are very much similar in that they're drawing on these kind of archetypes that we've internalized and explaining normal parts of the human experiment experience in like grandiose ways that you can understand when you think about it bigger.
Yeah. And you mentioned the archetypes. Yeah. We recognize and we learn, we identify archetypes. And you think of a story where there's a young guy and he grows up on the outskirts. He knows he's special, but he doesn't know how. There's just something different about him. And for some reason, he has to go on a quest. And along the way, he's going to meet this older guy who's a veteran of whatever it is, who's going to mentor him. He's going to meet a rogue who you never know whose side he's on, even though he always ends up doing the right thing. There's usually a princess of some kind who's going to either have to be rescued or is going to play a huge significant part in it. And I've just described Star Wars, but I've also described Lord of the Rings. I've also described The Lion King, and I've also described Rocky.